One, two, and three. Hey guys, my name is Wilson, and this
And
is
I'm Fernanda Rivera from the College Kids Podcast. Welcome back, guys.
episode 2. So, I think I'm a little bit too loud, guys. All right, what are we talking about today, bro?
Today's an interesting topic. Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry, I just saw some little lip.
Today we wanted to talk about a little bit about, obviously, this podcast is about college, but most importantly, one of the topics we want to hit is the bachelor's degree.
So yeah, I think,
And how important is it to you?
Yeah, there you go. The real question is like, how important is a bachelor's degree? You know, like, is a bachelor's degree as important as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago? But more importantly, like, just for today's topic is, what does a bachelor's degree mean to you? What does it mean to you guys? Comment down below.
What does it mean to you? What is
I'm
it?
asking you, bro. Come on, stop talking. Come on.
I mean, I personally think it's more of a backup plan for myself, if that makes sense. Not a backup plan, but I think it's a great way to jump into the job field, get some great opportunities, and honestly be able to fulfill that like achievement of mine of being able to say like, I got my degree, I went to college, and I actually graduated. And I know it's not a big deal to many people, but I feel like to myself, that's what it means to me, to be able to just fulfill that achievement and to be able to get a solid career, at least going, if it leads me one way or another. But that's what it personally means to me. What about you?
All right, Mrs. Reporter Rivera. Yeah, I think.
That's so funny.
I think kind of the same way. I think it's a great achievement. I think a bachelor's degree is a great way of saying that you did it, you know? Like, as, you know, I want to say immigrant, but like there's also a bunch of other people that are like-minded like we are. It was taught to us to be the golden ticket, you know? Like, this is it. This could be something that could take you out of poverty. And I think it's a great achievement, and I think to me it means that it could open up more doors than it would close, but I feel like it's valued differently now, you know? Like, it's not the same. School, like, it's not, the bachelor's doesn't mean what it used to. Like, the bachelor's degree used to kind of be the pinnacle of the American dream. Like, to me, it was like, it wasn't an achievement, more of so it was a lifelong dream of most people. Like, it's nice that now we could say, yeah, it's a nice achievement. You know, you went to college for 4 years. You got some experience out of that, and you've learned a little bit.
You worked a little bit, yeah. So.
There's so many more layers to it, and of course, it's very good and very good for a lot of kids that are, you know, maybe not getting that experience at home or in their town, in their city or whatever they are. But I think that it used to mean way more. I think it used to be valued way more because it was a big deal. Like, it was the golden ticket. It was the pinnacle of the American dream. Like, you used to come to America and you'd be like, you want to be a banker, and you had to be a bachelor's. You had to have
you
a
want
degree.
to be a doctor. I mean, obviously, you still need a
of course, you
bachelor's degree to be a doctor.
To be doctors and all
Not
that.
saying with that, but I feel like coming from at least, you know, a child of immigrants, and my parents, you know, saying like, yeah, go to college, get this, get that. But also, when people think going to college, you know, you think, all right, you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or you're going to do this. And it's like, well, I mean, I personally don't want to, but I see other people and I think it's great. But what I was going with that was that, you know, it's not the same, I agree, as it was like 50, 20, 15 years ago. Like, different people obviously are going for different things, but it's not the same as it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, like, the value of the bachelor's degree isn't the equivalent anymore. Like, and of course everybody's going to say, yeah, well, that's anything with inflation and, you know, life and everything. You know, things change. But the value doesn't, you know, correlate anymore. Like, the actual monetary value. Like, of course, the educational and maybe experience-wise, it is still roughly the same. Like, you're still going to experience a lot, and you're still going to, you know, live a very interesting life throughout those years. But
not only that, but I feel like it's also not the same to many employers. Like, yeah, the bachelor degree may be, it's this important to you. What does that mean to you? But realistically, what does it also mean to an employer? Like, does an employer really look at you and be like, okay, you got your bachelor's degree and, yeah, welcome to this job. Welcome to this,
I think it was
you
like that
have
before.
to get experience. Yeah.
I think it used to
was.
be like, bachelor's degree, oh my God, you went through hell and back to like be able to do this. You must be really talented. You must be very educated. And I would love for you to work here. But now it's not like that. I think the job market is very saturated.
Yeah, no, it's like I said before, I read an article where it said like there's a really big academic inflation where a lot of students are going to college, getting the degrees, and while that's great, it's also causing, some inflation in the employment where it's like people are, okay, you got your bachelor's, but so does Timothy from this college, which is a prestige college, and he has, 5 internships that he went to during college, and what do you have? And it's becoming extremely competitive to where it wasn't like that about, let's say, 20 years ago maybe? It's not the same, where it's like you got your bachelor's, okay, that's cool. Right. Wow, you're going for your master's? No, that's a different story. But now it's like, you got your bachelor's, okay, what about your master's? It's like, what are you going to do with your master's?
That's tough, because I even think the master's slowly getting diluted too. Like, I think the new bachelor's is the master's. Like, if you got a master's, oh, all right, you got something. You can walk in here and, maybe you could get an executive employee status. But like a bachelor's is becoming the new high school diploma. And I don't think that's fair anymore, because a lot of kids in high school or could learn most of the things that we're going to learn in the first 2 years of college in the internet. And the employment
like your
market,
general education.
Yeah, general education.
Yeah, of course.
Like you're gonna, and I think a lot of people have been arguing this before us. Like you could have learned all of the first 2 years of like to get an associate's outside of like just in the work field. Like when you start working, you just start learning things that are actually applicable to your job. That's true. Experience comes with some education, but I think that it's more of a hassle now. Like school has made the bachelor's feel like it's still the same as it was 50 years ago, and it's not. And I think my argument is they should reevaluate it. Not to say to like the experience level of things and the education, but just drop down a couple grand on the entry level of this, because like, of course, there's not a lot of kids out here that are paying full price, and let's be honest, a lot of California kids aren't going to pay full price. They're in-state residents, but colleges, I saw an article in a couple like
statistics,
something like that,
some statistics
where sadly where I said I was going to be talking about statistics, and now we're talking about statistics, where most of the money that's being made for colleges are out of the state international students, because they pay ridiculous amounts of money. I didn't know
Which
that.
is crazy to me to think about. Like international students,
why is there a difference?
What?
What's up with that?
Like,
Topic.
what is the actual fee that causes the internet? I don't understand. I've honestly never read. I just think that the fees of it is
ridiculous. Like, look, okay,
insanely high. But you know what? There's an economic standpoint as to why that is.
Yeah, but I don't think that's fair. Like, I haven't looked into it enough.
Probably
but
not.
I do know that it's ridiculous, and a lot of colleges are making bank off of it. And because of COVID, they had to take a step back and reevaluate things. But I think they should reevaluate just the pricing of the bachelor's degree, because it's not fair anymore. Like, you can't walk into Wells Fargo with a bachelor's anymore and be like, I should walk into being, a high level status banker. No, you're walking into the ground floor just like a high school diploma guy.
I mean, depends. Maybe Wells Fargo you can get away with. I've seen a few.
Yeah, but like
maybe
still,
like
you could do a little bit.
Like their headquarters, where it's like,
You're still walking
you
into-
want to be in this. Well, you're gonna require.
But like, I think
bachelor's degree.
you could still do the same with just experience. If you just work your ass off and you do a lot of jobs and you get the experience, I think experience trumps education to a certain extent.
Well, yeah, because nowadays you don't just need, you're applying to a job. Like, I've seen many all over Indeed. And it's like, okay, yeah, you fill the requirements, except you don't have a bachelor's degree with like 3 years of experience in this field. And it's like, well, 3 years ago, I was like 19, 20 years old. How was I supposed to get experience in this? I'm only getting education. Like, I don't have all the requirements. So now they're asking for, plus this many years of experience in the field, when it's like, but I'm trying to get into this field.
I think there's also a very big dilemma with like the way that we like the education system and the way that we're taught to look for jobs is very misconstrued, like misconstrued, because like we're taught like you're a bachelor's degree in administrative management, right?
Management information systems.
I don't know about much, but like let's say administrative management. You look for a job of administrative management outside of college, you're not getting one. No way. Absolutely no. Unless you've had like 7 internships throughout college and had a bunch of jobs in that field, you're not getting the job.
Like right away, yeah, because obviously you
not.
don't have any experience in actual like management and leadership, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, you know how to run numbers, okay, you know how to do this, but when it comes down to it, do you have actual hands-on experience? Which makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
I'm not gonna go out and be like, oh, okay, well,
change. Chance. It makes
I'm not
absolute
gonna go
sense.
out. If I was an employer, like obviously,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I post things on Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hire you just because you're straight out of college. You know, most people need at least
experience, like 2-4 years.
Yeah,
the same amount of time
which
that you've
makes
been
sense.
in college.
You need to work with your degree, not just let your degree work for you. Realistically,
Yes, that's absolutely true. That's a very, very interesting statement. But yes, because it's hard out here. Like you expect, like a lot of colleges expect, like they teach us, and they teach us very wrongly, that you're supposed to get this certificate at the end of the college, you know, your semester and you're done, and you're supposed to be able to walk out of here and get a job. No, like most of these guys, like you walk out with a biology degree, you're not going into biology field. Like right now you're still working in probably Starbucks and you're trying to figure out something, you know, and it sucks because it's like, you know, I was pretty much like, I was fantasized this life that wasn't it at the end of the road. Like I was commercialized, like I'm supposed to go through here 4 years, and at the end of it, I got a job. And I think that's so like inherently kind of evil and unfair and weird, to say the least. I don't say if it's fair, but it's business. I understand that schools run a business as well, but like, why do this to kids? Like, why not just tell them and teach them and show them the way that they should be able to run themselves in the real life, in the real world
like
experience?
You said, it brings money, it's business, it's also funds a lot of like the public schools and all those taxpayer monies too. Like,
yeah, but like, don't you think? Just talking to hopefully some institutions
would
are
it be
listening.
fair?
Yeah, but
yes, to students it'd be fair. You know, you save
would be.
money, you go into it, but also from a standpoint of what I've kind of read, it's like, yeah, sure, you're straight out of college. What, you're like 22, I want to say, with
22,
a bachelor's
24,
degree.
out there.
Let's say that. And you don't have any experience. And
well, look, you're really trying out here. Like you're 24, 22 years old out here.
The battery.
What?
The camera. Sorry, the battery was low on the camera.
It shouldn't have to worry. Look,
She
tried to kick me. I was trying to like,
so it was
pinpoint.
like, hey,
All right,
no, I was going pinpoint, and then the battery said to be like, hey, you're on 25%. So I was like, hey.
Did it say that?
Look at that. Yes, it did. It said low battery.
I've been trying to stare at you guys and conversate with you guys, like, you know, intimate.
Instead of looking at the screen? Yeah. And I'm like, hey, you know, throwing my freaking chancla at him, so just so that he listens to
it. It still hurts.
Well, as I was saying, it's
yes,
like, okay.
Communicate with me.
Anyways. So say you're 22. Okay, you need 2 years plus of experience, or 3, whatever.
Yes.
All right, let's say 22 to 3 to 4. You're what, 25, 26? Maybe you got a bachelor's degree and this. Well, at least that's better getting that experience in a smaller amount of time with the degree rather than 15 years, and you're almost in the same position, maybe a little bit higher. I don't think
that's
you
necessarily true anymore, though.
You kind of get like a.
Yeah, of course. There's a still like step up if you like.
Anyway, I feel like that's what it is. Is that it like kind of just starts you off in the workforce, maybe just a little bit earlier,
a little bit higher
and earlier. Yes,
than everybody else,
compared to somebody who graduated high school and has worked from, you know, not in a bad way, but went to serving, waitressing, bartending, like service worked the way and moved. That's from what I've seen and kind of read sometimes. I don't agree with it all the way, but I've also kind of seen where I'd rather take the 4 years of school and experience rather than 4 years of just plain working like a 9 to 5 to build my way up there.
I don't think that's necessarily true anymore, though, because there's a lot of jobs out there that, because of the saturation, they're like, high school degrees is enough. Let's get you in here and start working. And there's a bunch of kids that 2 years in, they're like, dang, I moved up the ladder. I've been switching jobs, of course, but I've been moving up the ladder. I got 2 years experience. Let's go for 4. They go 4 years experience in their field, and you walk out of college. You think I'm going to take you, a fresh college, that, yes, you got 4 years of bachelor's. You got great.
But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you got the bachelor's and experience.
But that's a very rare combo anymore, though.
Well, that's why you get networking internships. If you were to actually do it the right way, you can take full-time jobs at the time. But like,
how many kids are taught that? How many kids in your, like, let's say your finance class, your accounting class, how many of those kids are taught? How many of those kids do you think have
currently right now my accounting class?
Like that?
None
of them, right?
Right. Well, from what I know, but I'm also like,
I talked to a bunch of my stats kids.
Don't know.
Like, and they're diverse, but none of them have jobs. None of them have real jobs. Well, not real jobs. I hate that word. None of them have jobs that are
in that field.
In their field of play.
Choice, yeah.
They're like, yeah, of course you work at Starbucks, but like, in that same amount of like work ethic and experience that you got in Starbucks, you could easily gone into management and accounting for a firm. Of course, you're not going to be an accountant all of a sudden, but you are going to be like a paper pusher. And of course, you're going to be a paper pusher. You're starting off.
If you're getting a job, personally, this is kind of what I want to do, wish I would have done too, is get a job. Okay, maybe like a part-time job, minimum wage or so, but at a place where you're going to be learning and be able to move up from there rather than working at another place that doesn't correlate at all to what you're studying, if that makes sense. And being like, well, I have 2 years at this place, but I didn't learn anything from there. But at least I got 2 years of customer service, Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. But like, did you learn anything in management? Did you learn anything about
that you're working towards? I think that's very true.
What do you want to do? Accounting? Did you run any numbers? No.
I think that's very true. I think that you're hitting a very, very valid point. Like, there's a lot of kids out there that
breathing so much into the mic. I'm so sorry.
Believe me, you are. All of our listeners are like, damn, you guys are heavy breathers.
Anyway, what's wrong with you guys?
We are barely learning about this, so guys, let's slow down. But yes, I think you're absolutely true.
Up and my
oh my god, she's complaining because like she has to stand up, guys. Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the point. Yes, I think there's a very good valid point in the conversation that there are people out there that are just working to work, and there are people out there that are working and trying to get into their field. There's two completely different workers, but I think most of those workers that are working towards their field have more value in not going to college and just trying to hustle their way up, because college doesn't teach you to be, a good entrepreneur or a good way to make yourself work for you. And the people that are willing to hustle themselves through college are better off. If you have that same type of mentality, apply it somewhere else and you'll make millions.
That's true. But I also don't think everybody's goal is to make millions or be an entrepreneur. Not everybody has the same mindset as you do, and that's the beauty about a melting pot.
Melting pot.
Where it's
that's like very true. Very true.
We're also a capitalist country. Like
capitalist
you can't
country. We all have options.
We're not socialists here. We got 1%. 10%? Can't read that.
You're good. We're good. We're good. Don't worry about it.
But going back to that, where it's like you have to have a diverse mix of people, diverse minds. Not everybody can think alike with that. Not everybody. Everyone's goal is to be like a millionaire.
Give me a second and to put this then. So if everybody doesn't think the same, then why are we taught the same way? The same way to just work. Because we've set the bar so low that we're all like, no, there's no point in making.
It gives you the mentality to work for somebody else. I agree with that.
Okay, but like, how come that's that? Then how come we've set the bar so low, and then we say, let's just set it a little bit higher. Let's make people.
The economy. It goes to the economy.
But I feel like if we've made a little bit of better progress with having us be educated in a better, more economically like intelligent way, where we know how to like handle money and how to move up the social ladder and the economical ladder.
I agree.
Then this conversation wouldn't exist. Like this conversation that nobody thinks the same. Well, we are been taught and manipulated to think the same way, and because of that, we're like, why should we think this separately? Like, why should we think differently? I think that's very like disingenuous out of the corporate world of America, but I don't know how to combat that. That's a really tough conversation to have. Like, yeah, we've been all taught to be really good workers. Can we agree with that? I think we could all agree with that. Like, we've been all taught since grade school to be really good workers. Repeat, 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 take a test. Repeat, 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 take a test. Just like work. Repeat, repeat, get a paycheck. Repeat, repeat, get a paycheck. If you do good, you might get a couple 15-cent raises. It's true. 25. Then you maybe get a grand there. You're there. A bonus. But that's only, small. Like, it's not worth.
It's like a span over 10 years, possibly?
Yeah. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you go a different route, especially nowadays, you can make millions, genuinely build generational wealth with the resources that you have online, which I agree with 100%. And while I love that, I also understand that, you know what, maybe my friend or one of my close friends doesn't think that way. And that's okay, because you need to have the people. In order for me to be up here and build this, I need to have people that know their industry and know what to do, so that I'm able to lead them and manage them. And in a way, I can achieve financial freedom without having to work that ladder. I think
that's very true. Like, but I feel like there should be at least a little bit more of a, let's set the bar higher so that anybody else could fall below the bar.
But then what happens when everybody is like,
well, then that's
entrepreneurs, and now you got
there's a bunch. That's the problem.
A bunch of them, and nobody wants to work for the entrepreneurs anymore.
No, there's always going to be somebody that's going to want to be a worker.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
there's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, you know what, I'd rather take the 9-to-5 paycheck. Mm-hmm. But there's a bunch of people that are 9-to-5 workers that don't know that they could be, and they would be really good entrepreneurs.
But they're taught to
be just workers.
Oh, yeah, follow.
And instead of follow the herd. And instead of doing that, I think that we should just raise the bar a tiny bit higher, where we could be teaching people this is a viable way of living. This is a viable way of being a person.
There's options.
There's options compared to this is the straight line shot that most people have been working towards, and it works.
And it worked. That's planned to prove. Well, but realistically, how many people do you see too also that have tried to be entrepreneurs and sadly have not made it there and have fallen? I've seen a couple, and then I've seen obviously a lot that have succeeded, which I don't know. That's love,
in my personal experience, I don't think I've seen too many that have failed. I've seen too many that have succeeded, and that's why.
Well, yeah, you're not going to hear about the failed entrepreneur that went back to a 9-to-5. That's not a story that anybody wants to hear about.
No, but like in my personal life, my lifetime, and me dealing with people, I think I've been not successful enough, but lucky enough that every person that I've worked with, mentored by, they have been a very successful, like, entrepreneurial-minded person. And some of them go back to having a 9-to-5. And they're proud of that because they're like, you know what, I sold the company.
Just because you have a 9-to-5 doesn't mean you cannot be an entrepreneur at the same time. I know people that come back 9-to-5 and you know what, they have a passion that they work on.
Their side business.
Afterwards. And that's great. That's a person right there where I'm like, congrats to you, because you're working your 9-to-5 and also coming back and working on something else where it's like, that's just great, and dedication. I don't know how you're not tired at the end of the day, but that's great, because I'm like, those type of people, I'm like, I wish I had, not I wish, but
you could have it.
Something working towards. There we go. Something we're working towards, right?
Yeah, we're always
trying to go up.
Teenagers, kind of. Well,
young adults.
Young adults. I'm sorry. I had a burp. Sorry, guys. You guys are going to learn about me. Kind of awesome dude. We are young entrepreneurs. Let's materialize that. All right. But before I leave you guys, I have to just ask a question. One question. What you guys think about the Oscars? I didn't even know the Oscars were happening until the day before when I heard about the slap.
I follow a lot of people online.
Oh my God, she does. She's more of a tech whiz.
I did see a lot of things with the Oscars, and then I saw about it was a heavy day for me, so I wasn't on social media.
Yeah, she wasn't there,
but I was actually at the Oscars. In case you guys didn't catch me,
she was right there. She was,
I was in the
behind
back.
one of the cameras. Like she was right behind Will Smith.
Yeah,
but
I actually told Will Smith to go and do that. In case you guys didn't know that.
Gosh,
I was right next to Jada.
Jada was like, "Bro, you better tell him. You got to be treating me better."
Yeah.
So look, I think
personally, that's my experience with that.
I think it was a very interesting conversation.
That was interesting because
it was an interesting situation. gone we go, guys. All right.
Sorry.
So we're going audio
all I gotta
only
say is,
for the next 5 seconds.
First Amendment rights. Chris Rock had the right to do that. I mean, Will Smith, come on, like, you know that all this stuff. It's Hollywood. It's Hollywood. That's all I have to say.
I think the only thing I gotta say is apparently Chris Rock didn't even say the joke off of his head. That was a written joke. So, ouchies.
I did not know that.
So that one kind of hurt because it's just like somebody's getting fired. But on the last couple notes is our quote of the podcast, and today's is going to be by Mike Tyson. He said it in 2021. You guys can look it up. Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. I feel like that is a very passionate and invigorous and dangerous man that we could all learn a little bit from, and is very true about discipline.
I agree. Very good quote. Just maybe not the ear stuff, but
Oh
otherwise than
my
that,
gosh, she did not just bring that up. All right, guys, we'll be seeing you guys in
the next one. Thank you guys from Fernanda and Wilson from the College Kids.
She took it from you guys. Bye.